After taking a quick gander through my book here, what I can tell you is that there are not too many low mintage years to look out for. Usually with most denominations for Canadian coins, 1970 and 1991 are great years to look out for, and they're usually very low mintage. But with pennies, it's just about a completely different story. Probably because they're the lowest denomination for a lot of years, they had to make a lot of them because they were very common, which is kind of funny considering Canada was one of the first countries to take them out of circulation. But there is a few good years you can look out for in terms of some variations. So those are 1965 has about 4 or 5 variations, and those are known as the pointed and blunt 5 and small and large bead variations. And we've seen some other denominations with the small and large beads and with pointed and blunt 7s and stuff like that. So maybe we'll be able to throw some of these under the microscope, and we might have a few different 1965s. Considering there's 4 different variations, there's a very good chance that you can have different varieties or variations of those when you are searching through them. Now, another Canadian penny that you can look out for that has 2 variations is 1983, which also has a near and far bead variation. And the near beads would almost appear kind of like a large bead in the other coins, and for the year 1985, there is also 2 variations, a blunt 5 and a pointed 5, and the pointed 5 can actually fetch a pretty penny. So I'd say it's definitely worth looking through these things to see if we have any of those years. In terms of low mintage for the pennies, I'm surprised to say that 1991 is not a low mintage year, but 1990 is actually a low mintage year, which is the year of my birth. Kind of interesting. But the mintage for the year 1990 is 218,035,000, which is still a very large mintage, but if we're going to be holding on to any of these pennies to roll up and stack, they're probably going to be 1990s. But other than that, I'm going to start sorting through these. Some of them appear to have some pretty good luster still on them. I've spotted a few centennials that are looking in pretty good shape. So I'll start sorting through, and then I'll start reporting in and showing you guys what I am finding here. Alrighty guys, well, I have just finished sorting through all of these pennies. I decided to sort them by decade. So I did 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, and there was only a couple 2000s. I think there's 1 or 2 2000s and 1 or 2 2001s. But I thought I would start with these right here. If you guys don't know what these are the 1967 Centennial Canadian Bird Cent. These are very popular and very sought after. And I got more than a full roll of these. I got 53 to be exact. So this is more than a full roll of Centennials. Some of these, as you can see by the ones on the top, are in really good shape too. I took some of the better ones kind of to show you guys, but they are very nice, and you cannot find these in the wild anymore. You can only buy these online or get them in coin shops, or maybe if you're lucky find them if you're coin roll hunting in the US. But to get a whole roll of these in this kind of condition, not too shabby, I have to say. And guys, we got a whole bunch of other amazing stuff that we did not expect to get. This was only supposed to be 1960 until 1998, I believe. But we got some rare treats we were not expecting, and this pretty much honestly just turned into a penny hunt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the piles of the different decades that I broke down and separated, and then I'm going to show you guys some of these things that we did not expect to find, because they are pretty epic, and there is one coin in here that is extremely epic. So let's show you what we found in terms of decades. Alrighty, so these right here are all of the 1960s we managed to pull. And there are a good handful of 1965s, so we're going to be able to check for that blunter pointed 5. I think we got somewhere between 7 to 10 of those, so I'll pull those out of the pile. Now, as was to be expected, we found a ton of 1963s and 4s. They probably make up the majority of this pile right here, but a lot of them are in this nearly uncirculated condition. So that is definitely a plus. The 1965s, which we have between 7 and 10 of, some of them in the condition almost like this, we can check under the microscope for the blunt or pointed 5 variation. So not a bad pile of 1960s. And these are all the 1970s we separated from the bag. It's the second largest pile of the bunch, and honestly, a lot of them are in really good condition. So what I'm going to be able to do for a lot of these is I'm going to be able to replace some of the ones in my binder that are in terrible condition with some of the ones that are looking really good in here. So that way it's going to be able to clean my own collection up a little bit, and it just adds a lot of variety to my penny stack, because these are also great for stacking copper. I'm pretty sure all of them up until the year 1998 were composed of copper. And the largest pile out of the three, the 1980s. We found a ton of these, and some of these get up into the very high mintages, up even into the billions, some of these 1980 years. So it's not surprising that this would be the largest pile of all of the decades we separated. But that does not mean too much to me, because even though these do not hold too much numismatic value for the 1980s, they are comprised of copper, which means they do hold some bullion value. So you can't really complain about that. And this right here is the smallest pile of the bunch, the 1990s. So now I'm going to show you some of the pennies that I found that I did not expect to find in that bag while I was going through it. It said when I purchased it that all of the pennies would be from the year 1960 to 1998, but we found some going back almost 100 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the really good pennies that I put to the side. Now there's quite a few of them. Some of them are toners that I thought looked really cool, and some of the really older ones that I'm talking about also look really nice and have great tones to them. So I'll start from the newest and go back towards the oldest one that I found of the really good keepers. Pull ourselves two 1958s, both in similar condition. One 1957. One 1956. 1953. This one has a bit of an interesting toning there on the leaves. Not bad. Kind of like that. Now we're starting to get into the George heads. We got ourselves two 1952s. Looking a little worse for wear, but we got ourselves one 1951. And this right here, even though it's not the oldest pull of this hunt, I guess we'll call it, this is probably one of my favorite toners. The tone on this 1950 is just absolutely beautiful. I'm not too sure if my camera is picking up the full, but the shading from the light to the dark on the bottom there, oh, I just absolutely love that. Even here on the obverse, just the darkened toning around the edges and the lightness in the center there. I don't know about you guys, but oh, I am just loving the toning on this one. If you guys want to let me know in the comments which of these pennies out of this keeper pile is your favorite. Is it one of these toners, or is it going to be one of the older ones I'm about to show you next? I don't know, but this toner right here, gotta be my find of this hunt. Just absolutely beautiful, breathtaking tone on that right there. Still in good condition. Doesn't have too much. Now it doesn't have too much luster left on it, but just the tone of it. Oh, I just cannot get enough of that. I was just about in shock when I started pulling out these dates. I did not expect these whatsoever. When we started pulling out 40s, I was like, oh, what? I looked a little bit closer to see if we had a dot or a maple leaf, and this is the 1947 plain, unfortunately, but considering we didn't think we were going to get anything older than 1960, a 1947 George head, oh boy. And I just wanted to show you guys this really quick. It's very rare that I start showing a coin by the obverse, but I thought this looked really cool. Now, I'm not sure if somebody artificially toned this or took a lighter to it to get that blue tinge you see on there, but that looks awesome. This is a very cool toner. And if you're wondering what year this one is, 1943. So another nice old one with a very cool tone there on George's face. I don't know what somebody did to create that or to do that, or if maybe that's just natural toning over time, but I'm a fan, that's for sure. Now, if you guys have watched any of my videos in the past, you'll know I'm a huge fan of World War II history, and we got ourselves two different World War II dates here, the first of which right here, 1942, and we actually have two of these we've pulled, so not bad. Although Canada was not super involved in World War II in the year 1941, World War II was still raging on during this time, so I would still consider this a World War II coin. If you guys want to let me know in the comments what you think the age cutoff should be for a coin considered to be made in World War II for different countries, because maybe different countries should have different year cutoffs depending on what year they entered the war and whatnot. But I consider this a World War II penny. Who knows where this penny was during World War II? Maybe it was in the pocket of a Canadian soldier and then it made its way back home. Very cool. We would have been happy with those 3 World War II pennies that we pulled, but this seemed to be the bag that kept on giving, and we pulled this bad boy out right here, a 1939. Also has some cool toning going on to it. It has the light color in the middle and it kind of darkens out to the edges. I like that. But a very nice old penny. And then what do you guys say? I show you the find of this search. Now, if you are a coin roll hunter here in Canada, you will know it is very rare that we come across this site. So to find this as a bonus and a bag I bought that was supposed to be 1960 and earlier, I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. If you know who this is, King George V. So, if you want to know what year this is right here, 1927. So this penny right here is almost 100 years old. Somewhere around 93 years old. Which is just incredible. I don't know if they threw this in as a bonus, or if they just have a giant bin of pennies that they scoop out and weigh into bags, which I think is most likely probably what they're doing. But to get this as a bonus in a hunt where I had no idea that I was going to be getting anything old is awesome. It is an awesome bonus, and I recommend if any of you guys want to have a fun little hunt without having to go to the bank, maybe just buy one of these bags and you guys can get lucky like this too. You can see this box right here has the Royal Canadian Mint seal on it, which is an evil seal that we do not like seeing here. But we will open this up and see if there's anything older looking in here, but most likely this box will be a victim of the ARP. But when we open this box up, we noticed we have entire box of customer wrapped rolls. So we got ourselves a hunt. I might as well tear this open and show you guys what this is looking like on the inside right now. So as you can see, a whole lot of that new. I think this is all going to be 2019 uncirculated, to be honest, guys. Bummer. But I will definitely keep a few of these rolls on the side, and I'll go through the entire box, see if we got anything older, and then if not, I'll hold on to a couple of these because these look pretty pristine. And then what do you say we start opening some of these rolls up? So after a quick glance through that last box, I just came to realize that very quickly that these are all definitely 2019 uncirculated rolls. So unfortunately this hunt may not be as long as we thought, but these are in really good shape, so I'm definitely going to hold on to a couple of these and add them to my 2019 uncirculated roll collection, which is coming along quite splendidly. One quick tip as well, if you're going to hold on to uncirculated rolls, definitely make sure that one of the sides has the reverse showing. You don't want one that has two sides of the obverse, or you are not going to be able to tell later on which year it is, especially if you keep multiple years of these. So definitely make sure you can see what years you are keeping. But we're going to hold on to probably 5 of these, and then I'm going to start going through the box of customer wrapped rolls. Before I do that, I'd really appreciate if you guys would hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more coin collecting and coin roll hunting videos just like this. All right, roll number 2. We just got our first decent find in 1991. So this is a key date right here, sitting at around 10 million minted. So a great find already. Hopefully a good indication that this box hasn't been hunted. And let's keep chugging along and hopefully we can find something a little bit older than this, but still not too shabby. Roll number 3, and we just got ourselves another great low mint key date find here, 1970, which is sitting at around 5 million minted. So even if we can't get anything old, at least we're hitting some good low mint stuff. Can never complain about that. It's in really good shape too. So always keep your eye out for these 1970s because they are extremely low mint and they are just great. Roll number 4. what did we score? We got our first young head of this hunt. What year is it gonna be? 1963. So that's not bad. Usually we get the 64s as our first young head. Hopefully this will be a good sign of things to come. A few more rolls down, just pulled ourselves another young head, and it's another 1963. Just pulled our first US of the box, and surprisingly enough, what's it gonna be? A D mint mark, Ocean and View of the Joy. So, not too bad. It's we don't come across these too often. I have pulled a few before, but strange to get this as our first US of the hunt, but can't complain. A very nice coin. We'll add it to the collection and keep going along. A few more rolls down here. We just got a couple more good finds here. We got one more 1963 and two 1965s. And if you guys know, 1965 is the cutoff for dates for me. So I'll keep low mint and key date finds after 1965. But in terms of the age cutoff, I don't keep anything after 1965. You can also check the 1965s for the detached jewel variation on the obverse. So we might throw these under the microscope after and see if we have any variation. We also have a couple 1980s that I pulled to the side, and we can check for some doubling. So I'll keep going along, see if we can get anything else. Well, I was going along wondering where all of these were, but we just pulled both of these out of a roll. We got ourselves two 1964s, one of the most common years to find for young heads, especially the rounded rims. So, not too bad. I'd like to find something a little older. Hopefully we can find an octagon edge or maybe something a little bit older than that. A King George is always nice to find, but this has already been a decent hunt. A few more young heads and I'll be happy, hopefully. All right, we're getting to about the halfway mark now, and we just had another great roll. We found ourselves another 1991, a 1964, and a 1963. So I'm starting to get the feeling that this might have been skimmed through for octagon edges, and but that doesn't mean that we can't still find a rounded George head or something like that. So it's still not a horrible sign. Like, this could have been, it's very possible that a coin roll hunter could have just gone through this and been a little bit lazy, and maybe I'm getting the finds that he didn't find. So all I can do is just keep going through, and you never know, right? So, but these, not too shabby. I can't complain about these two finds right here. But nonetheless, these are not too bad. This hunt is pretty much validated with these two 1991s, so I can't complain. I mean, I'll return these, and I'll be able to get some more, hopefully, customer wrapped rolls soon. Starting to get down to the nitty gritty. We got about 8 rolls left to go, but we just got ourselves 3 great finds inside of one roll. So I will show you guys what those are very quick. So we got ourselves 2 really good low mint finds. We got ourselves our second 1970. So the exact mintage for these is 5,726,010. So sitting at around 5 million, almost as good as the 2000p, but it might be even better considering it's a little bit older and it's actually made out of nickel, not electroplated steel. We got ourselves our third 1991. So these are incredibly hard to find. I went at least 4 or 5 hunts when I started coin roll hunting without getting a single one of these. So don't kid yourself because I got a bunch of these and think that these are easy to find. These are very far and few between. And if you find one, don't think about it. Hold on to it. So I have concluded this hunt. Before I break down the finds of the box, I'd really appreciate once again if you all would hit that thumbs up. And if you're new, please subscribe for more videos just like this. So I'll show you the finds of the box, and then what I'm going to do is probably throw some of the 1980s and maybe a couple of the 1965s under the microscope, do a bit of a time lapse, and we can see if we can see any doubling on the 1980s. I'll leave it partially up to you guys, and if I can notice anything that looks really good or really stands out to me, then I will put it to the side. This one, you can see along the right side of the 9, there is a small bit of doubling going on from what I can see. Maybe on the bottom right hand side of the 8 there, and along the right side of the 0 there appears to be a little bit of doubling going on. So that one's not bad. Pretty cool variation to look for though. I'm not going to look at the 1965s today just because not really in the mood to go through too many coins on the microscope, but the 1980 is a good one to hold on to and to check for variations. We got ourselves two nice little piles of 1963s and 1964s. I am always glad to take some young heads out of circulation. You know, these things are getting far and fewer between. Even though these aren't octagon sided, one day there will come a time when you will not be able to find these in circulation anymore. So might as well take them out for myself. To my own collection. There's about 4 or 5 64s and about 5 or 6 1963s. And we got ourselves two 1970s, both in very good shape considering the age of these things. You know, they're getting up above 40 years old now, almost 50 years old. So not too shabby if you ask me. Always glad to add these because they are super low mintage. They are sitting at around 5 million, so almost as rare as the 2000p, but even older, and you get the bullion. So almost a triple threat with these bad boys. The ultimate finds of this hunt, I would definitely say, are these three little devils right here. The 1991s. This is a new record for me. I've probably only found one, maybe two if I was lucky of these in a hunt before. So I am totally stoked to have found 3 of these in this hunt. This is definitely the validator for this one, and it makes me happy being able to pull these out of circulation for my collection, and maybe one of these days I'll throw them in for a giveaway or something like that. So to be perfectly honest, this is the second dime box that I picked up today. I grabbed one earlier on and it had this seal on it right here, but when I busted into it, it had nothing but these 2019 uncirculated. So I did hold on to a couple of these rolls because they're in really nice shape, but I took it right back to the bank, and then I grabbed this box right here, and then when I grabbed this one, it had the same seal on it, but the seal was already broken. So when I took a look inside, there is a bit of variety of different stuff in here. We have some clear rolls, and these ones look like they might be uncirculated, some of them, but some of them also look like both in the machine wrapped and the other ones like they might be customer wrapped, and there might be some older stuff. But there's no better way to find out than just to start tearing into these things. Before I do that, I'd really appreciate if you guys would hit that thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe for more coin roll hunting and coin collecting videos just like this. Then what do you say I start busting into these rolls? Alrighty, one roll in and we just have our first foreign find of the box. Looks to be an East Caribbean States 10 cents. We found this one before, but always glad to add a foreign find to our collection. And we also got something else a little decent but a little disappointing at the same time. Now this is just a darn tragedy right here. 1965, 1 year off, and we would have had some silver, but still a nice old US dime to add to our collection, so not bad. Just one roll in, so I'll keep chugging along and see what else we can get. 3 rolls down, and look what I just pulled. We got ourselves some silver already, guys. 1958 young head. Oh yeah, can't complain about that. Man, our silver streak is back on. This is only roll number 3. We found it in a clear roll too, and I thought it was a nickel one because, you know, sometimes the nickel dimes can kind of stick out a bit, but lo and behold, I saw the little bit of wear on it and I was like, oh boy, and then we got ourselves a silver already. Very nice. Let's see if we can keep it going. Alright, we are having a great hunt so far. We just pulled out our second silver. Oh yeah, and we pulled this out of a machine wrapped roll, which is very surprising considering usually here in Canada the machine wrapped rolls are victims of the ARP. So our second silver of the hunt. This is going quite splendidly. Let's see if maybe we can beat our record and pull out a third silver. Yeah. Alright, I just found 2 very cool foreign finds in a roll. One of them I don't think I've ever seen before, so I'll show you guys those really quick. Alright, so this one right here is very cool, and I don't think we've seen one of these before. Unfortunately, the year is only 1983. But it's still a relatively old foreign coin, and it's really cool. It looks like it might be Panama from right there, but I am not too sure. If you guys know, maybe you can let me know in the comments, but this is a really cool one. I really like the bust on that. I'm not too sure. Probably some sort of early Spanish explorer, like maybe Francisco de Orellana or something like that. But a very cool foreign coin for us to add to our collection, though. And we actually pulled one more foreign out of that roll as well. We also pulled this one out of that same roll. 2 foreign finds in one roll. This is a Barbados 10 cents. And I'm not too sure if we found this one before. So, totally awesome to get 2 foreign finds like this in one roll. Oh yeah. So I have concluded this dime hunt. Before I break down these finds of the box, I'd really appreciate once again if you all would hit that thumbs up and please subscribe for more videos just like this. So this dime hunt was absolutely amazing. I was a little skeptical because of those machine wrapped rolls. Usually here in Canada we don't have much luck when it comes to machine wrapped rolls, but today those things were paying out. We got ourselves a silver and 2 really awesome foreign finds from those machine rolls. So, can't complain about that. So let me break these all down for you. These are all the really good keepers. Got myself a handful of US on the side and also a handful of 1968s that I will gladly take out of circulation for all of you guys. So, right here we have the East Caribbean states. Right here we have the Barbados 10 cents. Right here, 1964 silver dime. Right here, 1958 silver dime. And then right here, probably my favorite find, other than the silvers honestly, is that Panama Balboa. Very interesting. I have not found one of these yet, and I am very glad to add one of these to my collection. I'm not too sure on the composition or value of this. If any of you guys know, maybe you can let me know down in the comments, but a very cool coin nonetheless. So, this was an awesome hunt. So we're about 8 rolls down. We haven't found anything too crazy yet, but we just got our first 2 decent finds. We got our bread and butter that we talk about all the time here, which is the 2000p, one of my favorites to find here. Very low mintage, around 5 million minted, a little bit less actually. So a great one to look out for and a great one to keep. And we also got our first foreign find of this hunt. It looks to be a Cuban 10 pesos or 10 cents. I'm not too sure what the denomination is in Cuba, but maybe you guys can let me know down in the comments. But not too bad. Always glad to add a foreign coin to my collection. So I'll keep going along and see if we can find anything else. A couple more rolls down. We just got our first young head. Big surprise. Guess what year it is? 1964. The most common year. Lucky roll number 13. We just pulled ourselves our second young head. And what year is this one going to be? 1963. Not bad. We got ourselves a 64 and a 63 now. Nice. Well, we're getting to about the halfway mark right now, and I didn't even catch this by the edge, but we got our first octagon of the box, and it is a young head. The year is going to be a 1961. So, we already got ourselves a young head. We got a chance to get some more of these. Let's see if maybe we can find something a little bit older. Alright, we just got a good one that we're starting to see less and less of here in Canada. Usually I only keep 1965 and earlier. 1965 is usually the only datum that I hold on to, other than maybe 1970s. But this is another really good one to hold on to, is the 1967 rabbit nickel. They are getting pretty hard to find in the wild, and, you know, considering there's a rabbit on them, it's pretty funny. But always a good find to find a centennial when you are hunting. Look what I just dug out of a roll. I don't know if you can see, but this does not have an octagon edge. So by default, that means that this has to be 1942 or earlier. It's very rare that you find these in circulation, but the good thing is they tuck away inside of rolls very well because of the circular edges. So you might even have a higher chance of finding these than finding an older George head octagon. But if you turn this bad boy over right here, we got ourselves a World War II nickel, guys, 1942, and it is in really good shape. Just look at the luster on that bad boy. Absolutely beautiful. We got ourselves a George head. This hunt has been validated. Anything else we find at this point, will just be a bonus. So I'll keep going along and see if we can find anything better than this, but anytime we can find a World War II nickel, even if it's not the V nickel, I am a very happy hunter. So, totally awesome. Alright, I almost didn't catch this one because the edges are very worn, but we have ourselves another octagon here, so I thought I'd do the pleasure of pulling it out for you guys live. So it's going to be a young head. What year are we going to have? Looks like a 1961, our second 61. You know, the 62s are definitely a little bit better to find because there's a much higher chance of doubling, but nonetheless, the 61 is an earlier year, and it is an octagon edge, so not too shabby. Alrighty, making some serious headway. We got about 14 rolls left to go, and we just pulled these two bad boys out. We got a 64 and a 63 young head. So, not too bad. Yet another great roll. We got ourselves another 2000p. That's our third one. And I've talked about this in the past. Sometimes you'll see me pull out a lot of these, but for about every 50 2000 planes that I pull, I'll pull one of these, sometimes even less than that. So these are very rare, very hard to find. Don't kid yourself and think that these are common by the amount that I pull out. And then we also got ourselves another young head, and it is another 64. Big shock. So, 2 rolls left to go. Let's see if we can score anything else. Alright, so this right here is the second last roll, and I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but we have ourselves a sided edge. So I thought I would do the honors and pull it out live for you guys. Let's see what we got. Ooh, guys, we got ourselves a George head. Very nice. Now, what year is it going to be? It is going to be a 49. Yes. Nice. This has been a great hunt so far. Oh my God. Amazing. Very nice. Not quite a World War II, but we already got one of those, so you can't quite complain about that. So I saved this roll here for last because we have a really dark edge. So this could very well be a US war nickel, but I have a feeling somebody probably just chucked a Canadian nickel into a fire. So I'm probably just going to open this up on my own quick, and if it looks like anything special, I will show you guys, and if not, I will wrap this video up. So it was pretty much what I thought, just a super toasty 2009 that somebody probably chucked into a fire or burnt with a lighter or something. Don't know why people do this, but you find stuff like this pretty often. Alrighty, so I have concluded this hunt. Before I break it all down, I'd once again really appreciate it if you guys would hit that thumbs up, and if you're new, please subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this. So, I would rate this hunt a 9 or a 10 out of 10. The finds were epic and abundant. I found a bunch of young heads. I found 2 George heads, one of which is a 1942 war nickel. And I already have quite a few of those. It's a very common year, but to be able to find them in the wild and save them from the ARP or from being destroyed or lost or something like that, I will always gladly save an old coin from being destroyed. So, some of the finds of this hunt. So we found a few 2000Ps, some young heads, a handful of US, I would say probably about 15 or 20 US that I'll keep just for the inflation on the price there with the exchange rate. But these right here, I have 1 Cuban 10 peso or 10 cents. Once again, if you guys want to let me know exactly what they call the denomination down there. We have 2 octagons, a 1960 and a 1961. Unfortunately, no 62s, but still can't complain about that. We got ourselves a war nickel, 1942, and this is probably in one of the best shape of all the 1942s I have. At one point, I did buy a roll of these, but they were all in pretty rough shape, so that is a great find right there. And we also got this 1949 here, which is a great find on its own. If it was in 1948, it would have been a much better find because 1948 is around 1 million minted. This is a lot more common. I think I have found one of them before, but anytime you find a George head in a hunt and you save it from the ARP, you are doing coin collecting a favor, in my opinion. It's a while since we've had a full quarter box to hunt, so we're really hoping we can find some good stuff in here. We're going to be looking for 2020s, we're going to be looking for silver, and any other color enamels, rare or low mintage quarters we can find. Before we get into this, I'd really appreciate if you all would hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're new and would like to see more coin roll hunting and coin collecting videos just like this. Then what do you say we give you a little look-see at what this box is looking like inside. So right here we have 50 rolls of quarters. Most of them are paper customer wrap rolls, which is a good thing because that's usually where you're finding most of the good stuff. We do have 3 clear rolls, which I checked for inners. Nothing too crazy was jumping out at me. So what do you say we start tearing into these bad boys and see if we can find anything good. So we just finished looking through the second roll and we just found these two, a 1973 RCMP that we can check under the microscope after for the large beads variation, and we found a Kentucky State quarter, which as far as I know has a variation of its own called the Spitting Horse, so not too shabby. Alright, I think we're at roll number 5 here, and we just pulled out 2 US out of a single roll, and we always seem to get ourselves some little tragedies. We got a 1985 D, that one seems to be in pretty good condition, and then look at this one, guys. 1966, we were 2 years off from silver, but that's still a good sign. At least we're getting some older stuff in this box here, so we'll keep chugging along and hopefully this is a good sign of things to come. Roll number 6, we just pulled out this right here. We usually don't hold on to the poppy ones unless they are in pretty pristine condition, and this one is looking pretty good, honestly. I'd say it pretty much passes my criteria. Still has about 75-80% of the poppy enamel left on there, and it is a beautiful coin, so maybe I can switch it out in the old coin collection book, or maybe I'll just hold on to it and hopefully I can eventually get a whole roll of these, but a very beautiful one nonetheless. A few more rolls down, we got some more decent finds here. We got ourselves a 1998 Washington quarter, and we got ourselves another 1973 RCMP. These are really starting to stack up. We're gonna have quite a few by the end of this hunt, and I'm not gonna complain about that. All right, we're at roll number 8 here, and we just found ourselves 2 beautiful looking state quarters. We found ourselves Colorado, and then we found ourselves a very beautiful looking Lowell. I'll give you a quick close up and show you what that looks like right now. Alright guys, we're at roll number 10 right now, and we just pulled 2 really good finds. Now this one right here is an amazing find. I've only pulled a few of them before, and it is the red enameled women's hockey, and it is minted at 3 million. So even though I've been pulling quite a few of these recently, don't be mistaken, they are extremely far and few between and very hard to find. And this one's in decent shape. There's a little bit of fading and wearing there on the enamel, unfortunately, but always glad to find these and add them to my collection. They are probably worth at least $1 or a little bit more, so very nice find. And then we also found, and these are pretty hard to find as well. We found a few of them in the past, but there are the 3 different variations. I think this is an orca or a killer whale, but there is also the bird, and then there is the bison, and this is the 2011 Celebrating Aboriginal Wildlife, I believe, and I'm always glad to find these color enamels right here because they are just beautiful. I love the color there on the blue. Well, we're a few more rolls down and we just got our first provincial of this hunt. Let me turn this around and show you what it is. This is the Nova Scotia. So this is minted around 13 million, I believe. So not the lowest mintage of the provincials, but these are all pretty hard to find, far and few between. So we'll definitely find a good place in my collection. Roll number 15, we just got ourselves our second blue orca enamel, and we got ourselves another 1973. This is crazy how many of these we're getting. Well guys, I don't know what is going on lately, but we just pulled ourselves yet another one of these woman colored enamels. So it is just raining these things lately. We're not going to complain about that. We are going to take every single one of them out of circulation and add them to our collection. Alright, we are somewhere around roll 25 right now, and we just pulled these out of the same roll. Not too shabby, both colored. And we have the Sir Isaac Brock and the Laura Secord, red colored 1812 series quarters. Well, we found 2 1968s, but unfortunately, when we did the magnet test, they failed. We got ourselves 2 nickel 1968s, unfortunately. Well, we just pulled ourselves 2 decent color enamels. I don't usually hold on to these breast cancer ones unless they have at least about 80 to 85% of the enamel left, and you can see this one is in pretty good shape, so this is definitely a keeper, and we have definitely set a new record for the amount of these blue orcas we have pulled in a hunt. I think we've only gotten one, maybe two before in the past, and we've gotten 3 so far, so these are awesome. I definitely like pulling these. I have a few more from the previous hunts I've done, so hopefully eventually I can get a full roll of these bad boys too. Alright, I think we got about 20 rolls left to go now, and we finally found one of these green bison 2011s. I was wondering when one of those might make an appearance. I'm a big fan of those because they have the coloring enamel as well. You guys know how much I love that. And we found another RCMP. This has got to be another record for our hunts. We found, I think, 5 or 6 of these now. This is going to be crazy. At the end, when I show you the huge stack of them, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how many I can stack up, because there might even be a few more of them in these rolls that I have left over. So let's keep going and see if maybe I can strike some silver. Come on. So we're only one more roll down, and we got 2 more really good finds here. I'll show you guys what these are really quick. Well, we have the first trifecta complete. We got ourselves the 2011 yellow bird. So we got ourselves the blue orca, the yellow bird, and the green bison. So that's all 3 of the 2011 quarter colored enamels. This might be a record, guys. Not too bad at all. I'm a huge fan of all of these from this set. So even though this right here isn't the lowest mintage, it is very far and few between. I've only found 1 or 2 of them before in the wild, I believe. It is minted around 28 million, but the design on it is very cool. I like the dual poppy color enameling. So even though this is a little bit higher mintage, I will still pull it to the side and hold on to it because I'm a huge fan of the World War commemoratives. Alright, so we got about 20 or less rolls left to go, and I think we're starting to hit a bit of a collection dump here, because these rolls that I'm opening right now are almost entirely year 2000 and 1999, and the only other ones that are mixed in with them are these right here, and I found these all in about 2 rolls. So these are all US, state, and Washington Eagle quarters all just mixed up, and then I found some other really good stuff I'll show you guys right now. But we got ourselves 3 provincials, and these were all in the same roll, and honestly some of these ones took me so long to find for my collection. I can't believe I found all of these in one roll right now, but can't really complain. But we got Northwest Territories in very good shape. This one is very low mintage. We got ourselves a Quebec. We've only found one of these before, so not bad. The design on there is very nice. I really like that. Great detail on that, and in very good shape as well. And this right here might be the find of this hunt, because this is the key date of the Provincial Quarter series. Minted around 2 million, the New Brunswick Provincial Quarter. Just beautiful. I think I might have found one of these before. The only one that I still need is the Alberta, but I think this might be in a lot better shape than the one I have in my book right now, so maybe I can swap that out at least. But this hunt has been amazing. The amount of stuff I found a few more 1973 RCMPs, so the stack I'm going to have at those at the end is going to be just epic. So I'll keep going along. Hopefully this is just the beginning of the collection dump, and maybe I can find some more good stuff. So just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what these rolls are looking like, quite a few US in there, and I'm guessing the rest of these are mostly year 2000 and variations, but you can tell by that edge right there. I think we might have something special here, guys, so why not do this honor just for you? It ain't a young head, but we got a 68. Now the only way we're gonna be able to confirm this is to slap it down. Oh yeah, guys, we got ourselves a silver. Oh yeah, the silver streak is back on, and it is beautiful. It is shiny. It is nice. Yes. Look at that. We've had quite a bit of luck with quarters. They've been good to us, and that's why we love to hunt them so much when it comes to enamel. And these right here, look at that. Just beautiful. One more roll down. We just got ourselves 4 more provincials. We got ourselves another Northwest Territories. We got ourselves a Nova Scotia. We got ourselves our home province of Ontario. And then guess what else we got here, guys? Bada boom. We found the Alberta. Oh my. This is a collection dump box here, guys. I cannot believe this. We found just about every single provincial quarter so far. This has got to be a collection dump, all in beautiful shape. If you're still sending me that quarter, that Alberta to help if you're still sending me that Alberta to help finish my collection, I appreciate it very much, but clearly I do not really need it that bad, but hey, I'll still take it. But man, this has been an epic hunt. We got silver, we got just about every provincial, we got color enamels. At the end, this is gonna be quite the wrap up. So stay tuned for that. It's probably gonna be coming real soon, but wow. Well, the collection dump continues. We just found all of these in a single roll. We got the men's hockey now to join with the 2 women's. So those are 3 key dates, all minted at 3 million. I honestly went like 10 hunts without finding a single one of these. I can't believe how lucky I've gotten lately. Like, it seems like a bit of a novelty, the fact I'm finding so many, but honestly, I don't know what's going on. I must just be getting extremely lucky. Then we got ourselves the yellow bird and the green bison. So we're gonna have quite the stack of those at the end of this hunt. We got quite a few more RCMPs too, so we're literally gonna have about a full roll of RCMPs by the end of this hunt. So this is just getting ridiculous, guys. I'm just pulling out stacks of these provincial quarters. I'm pulling out poppy enamels that are in near mint condition, as well as breast cancer enamels that are in near mint condition. I'll show you at the end of this how good of shape that they're in. But we found ourselves another New Brunswick, so that's 2 of these key mint, finds right here. These are minted at 2 million, so that is just incredible. And then we found another provincial that we haven't found yet, and that is this bad boy right here. So sometimes we can be lucky if we just find 1 or 2 of these provincials in a single hunt, and look at how lucky we are getting. We have just found so many of these. You will see at the end the massive stacks of these that I have accumulated. Alrighty guys, well, I have concluded this hunt. I found some more good stuff in the rest of those rolls. Unfortunately, no more silver, but you can't really complain. I think the coin gods have shined pretty kindly upon us today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the massive piles of different coins that are going to be keepers for us. Before I do that, I'd really appreciate if y'all would hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're new and would like to see more videos just like this. So let's start showing you guys some of these amazing keepers that I found. So these are all of the 1992 provincial quarters that I found. Unfortunately, I didn't find all 12 of them, but I did find multiples of some of the different provinces. Some of the ones that are really good that I found are the Nova Scotia and the Northwest Territories. So I will also be able to fill out my collection with the Alberta that I found. So that's not too bad at all. I would have probably been happy if I just found those, but all of the other amazing stuff that I found probably made this one of the best hunts, if not the best that I have done. So let me show you some of the other amazing stuff I found. Then all of these are going to be the 2011 Legendary Nature sets. Now we got 3 of these blue orcas, we got 3 of the green bisons, and 2 of the yellow birds. So usually I would have been happy to just get a couple of these in a hunt, but to get all of these is just absolutely epic. Alright, so we got ourselves quite the handful of these 2005 breast cancers. I usually don't hold on to these because they're in terrible shape, but these ones are in great condition. Usually the enamel is very worn off, but you can see here the one in the middle is in terrific shape, and most of them have just about 100% of the enameling still left on it, almost no discoloration in the white. So these are prime specimens to keep. I'm going to throw them into a coin tube, hold on to them, and hopefully one day maybe they'll be worth a little bit more money, but not bad finds on their own. So these are going to be the War of 1812 color enamels that I have chosen to hold on to. We got 3 Laura Secors here, 1 Tecumseh, or the John Redcorn as I like to call it, and then we got 1 Isaac Brock, all looking very nice. And these are all of the RCMPs I found. So was this a collection dump or what? I think it was, but I counted 23 RCMPs, so not quite a full roll. If I would have gotten 17 more of these, then it would have been a full roll, but this is still quite the pile. Another record for me for sure, and I'm gonna have quite the job cut out for me when I start looking through all of my RCMPs for the large bust, but I'm definitely glad to add all these to my collection. So let's start getting on to some of the really good stuff for you guys. Whew! Would you take a look at these 2008 Remembrance Days, guys? How often is it you see poppies in this shape coming out of rolls? This one right here, I would say, has at least 98% or more of the enamel left on it, and there's pretty much no discoloration on the white centers on any of these. So The mintage isn't super low, but the fact that they've been in circulation so long, it is very rare to find them in this condition. So if they have this much of the poppy left, I suggest you hold on to it. And then we also got this right here, which I'm also a huge fan of. So not bad for the color enamels in this hunt. Well, feast your eyes upon all of these beauties. Now, I still unfortunately have not found the Cindy Cleason, but this has got to be a new record for me. I think I might have found 1 or 2, maybe 3 if I was lucky in the one hunt where I got really lucky and found all the Bobcat silvers. But this is just absolutely amazing. This has to be a collection dump. I'm extremely surprised that I haven't found the Cindy Cleason yet, considering I found so many of these. I must have at least 10 of these by now, but don't get me wrong, they're extremely hard to find. They're all minted at 3 million. They're all key dates, especially for the 2009-2010 Olympic series. So keep your eyes out for these, but these would have more than made up for this hunt. But we got some even better stuff than that, guys. I hope this answers your question as to whether there are still silver quarters out there. There is still hope, and this is why I like to hunt quarters, because if you can find one of these, it's worth finding a few silver dimes in a single hunt. So, and then with all the color enamels you can find, all the variations, the low mintages, we still haven't found a 1970, and the 1991s are extremely far and few between, but there's just so much good stuff to look for in quarters. And then when you find the silver, it is an extra bonus. So just to give you guys a little bit of an idea here of the shading difference between the nickel 1968s and a silver 1968, but let me give you a little bit of a close-up here on this silver 1968, which is going to be the ultimate find of this hunt. I'd just also like to mention that I found a ton of US quarters, probably a full roll. Most of them were state quarters, so nothing too special. I think I found that one 1966, so I was a few years off from silver, which seems to usually be the case with the US. Seems to be a bit tragic, but we struck ourselves some silver today. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a 5-pound penny hunt for you guys. I went down to the coin shop and picked up an assorted 5 pounds of pennies. So usually they say they're only going to be giving through the years of 1960 to 1998. But sometimes we can find some older dates and some newer dates, but the older ones are really what we're going to be looking for here. So we keep anything from the year 1964 and earlier. We hold on to any 1967 bird scents, and other than that, we're looking for toners and anything else interesting maybe we can find. Before I do get into this, I'd really appreciate if you all would hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're new and would like to see more coin roll hunting and coin collecting videos just like this. And then what do you say we start tearing this bag of pennies open? So just to give you guys a bit of an idea of what this bag looks like, these are how they come. So we can see quite a few young heads in there. We can see some bird scents, so that's already a good sign. We got some darker tone ones in there, so hopefully that's a sign maybe there'll be a few Georgies in here. But no better way than to start pulling these out in little piles and going through them. I will tune you guys in if and when I find anything good. Wish me luck. Alright, so we just pulled our very first George head. I was getting a little worried, but this hunt is on. We pulled quite a few young heads, quite a few bird scents already. Some of the bird scents are looking like some really cool toners, so I'll definitely show you those at the end, but we'll turn this over and show you guys the first George head we got, 1949. So there are some George heads, some Georgies hiding amongst these pennies. Hopefully a few more made it in there. Maybe we got lucky and a George V will make it in there. But the only way we can find out is if we keep chugging along, and we will tune you guys in at any more finds just like this. But always happy to pull some of these out because it is a great deal, 5 pounds for $15. Nice. One more little pile later, we just got our second interesting find of this hunt. It's definitely before the year 1960, and it's got some cool tone going on there. But we got ourselves a 57. So nice. Some older stuff made its way into these bags. Well guys, this hunt is really shaping up to be a good one here. We just pulled out our second Georgie here. Let's turn it over and show you guys what year this one is. A 1942. So a World War II penny. Oh yeah. We just got another great young head find here. I think we're 1 or 2 years off from a Georgie, but a 1953. So definitely some older pennies in here that aren't supposed to necessarily be in here. I would say we're about a third of the way through this bag now. We've just got ourselves another older young head here of 55. Just found ourselves two more oldies here. Got a 1959 with some interesting kind of tiger striping going on there, and a 1953. Both of them are young heads. Alrighty, we just finished looking through the bag and we closed it out with this one last find here, which is a 1956. So we got quite a few old ones in this 5-pound bag. Can't really complain about that. So what I'll do right now is I'll show you guys the piles of young heads that I got, the pile of bird scents that I got, and then I'll quickly show you some of the George heads I got again, and then we will wrap this up for you. Alrighty, so these are all of the young heads that we managed to pull. We counted somewhere around 140, so that means we got almost 3 entire rolls of young heads. And this is the pile of really good looking young heads. Usually I'll find quite a few 63s and 64s that are in just great shape. Most of these are going to be those years with maybe a few 62s or 61s mixed in there. But I just wanted to give you an idea at what some of these better looking ones look like. These are the stacks of bird scents that we managed to pull during this hunt. A few hefty stacks here. These ones are all in darn near uncirculated condition, and then this one right here on top is a very nice looking toner. I like how it fades out to the bluish edges there. So I might just flip this one and throw it into my special box of special coins, especially toners and stuff like that. But I just thought this was a cool one. Always glad to get a bunch of uncirculated bird scents, but I would say we got at least a roll and a half here. So we definitely have a few full rolls of these bird scents now, all from these $15 5-pound penny hunts. And for the piece de resistance, let's start getting into these oldies. But before I do, I'd really appreciate once again if y'all would hit that thumbs up. And if you're new, please subscribe for more videos just like this. Alright, so we're gonna go oldest to newest here. We got a 59 young head. We got a 57. A 56. 55. I think we got ourselves 2 53s. That one is going to be a little bit better shape than this one right here. And then the Georgies. A 1949 Georgie. Hey there, Georgie. Love finding these, whether it's in the wild, in one of these bags. What do you guys think? Do you consider these bags to be the wild, or do you think that these were tampered with? Do you think they load them up with these things, or do you think that they just made themselves into a giant bin and they just scooped these all into these bags? I am curious. I did message them and I asked them, and they said if I'm getting any of these, it is by pure chance. I mean, they probably don't, if they have a big bin of hundreds of pounds of these, they probably don't have the time to sort through each and every one of them. So I will gladly take these older pennies. But 49, and the find of this hunt, one of my favorite kind of dates to find, a World War II 1942 Georgie. So this was a great penny hunt. I was hoping maybe I would get lucky and find one of these, but the coin gods decided to give us 2 Georgies, a bunch of older young heads, a bunch of bird scents. This hunt went quite splendidly. I'd like to thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this hunt. If you want, please let me know what your favorite find was down in the comments, and that's gonna do it. So, peace out everybody. Have a good one, y'all. Now we have 4 different roll types we're working with here. Now this one right here, as you may know, is my worst enemy, and these are known as ARP rolls, so most likely there isn't gonna be anything good in these, but I'll still open them up and check anyways, just in case. And right now I'll quickly show you some of the other rolls that we got today, because we got one that we have never seen before. So about half of the rolls in today's hunt are going to be comprised of these clear rolls. Now we really used to hate these things, but we've had some pretty good success with these lately, so I actually don't really mind them too much, and they're good because you can check on the inside for inners and see if you have anything good. And this right here is very bent and out of shape, so it may very well not be silver, but that color really looks off to me, and the fact that it's all bent may actually be an indication that it is silver, because silver is probably a little bit softer of a metal than the electroplated steel. But about half of the rolls in this hunt will be these clear rolls right here. One thing I always like to see is when you get some different varieties of customer wrapped rolls, because usually here in Canada they'll either come in those clear wrappers that I just showed you guys, or there are two other varieties of paper wrapped rolls. But every once in a while you'll see these, which are a lot harder to put together, so hopefully this will be a good sign that maybe there's something good in here. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys have encountered one of these coin roll hunting yet, but this is definitely an interesting one for me. When I asked for some quarters over the counter at Scotiabank, they handed me one of these as the rolls. I'm not too sure if you're supposed to actually use these as a coin roll, or if you even can, or what the deal is with them, but this is already a pretty interesting find on its own. I'm going to hold on to this. I'll be able to count my quarters in my hunts and roll them back up as I go along to make it a little bit easier for myself. Well, I think that's enough jibber jabber. What do you guys say we start busting into these rolls? Before I do though, I'd really appreciate if y'all would hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're new and would like to see more coin roll hunting and coin collecting videos just like this. And let's start tearing into these rolls. I just finished going through those machine wrapped rolls. I decided to open all of those up first and get them out of the way, because usually you have the least amount of luck with those. But I can definitely confirm that they were all ARP rolls, but that doesn't always mean that's a bad thing, and it doesn't always mean you shouldn't go through them, because I found something really good inside, and it wasn't silver, but it might be even better than silver. So let me give you a little look at what we found. So this quarter right here is one of the hardest variations to find in the wild. It is one of 3 different variations, and they are all minted at 3 million, and I've only found 1 or 2 of them, I believe, hunting myself, and I did at least 10 or more hunts before I actually encountered any of them. And it is the men's hockey. So this hunt has pretty much already been validated, and the funny thing is I found this in a machine wrapped roll. So this right here slipped by the ARP because it is made of steel alloy, but they don't check for coloring enamels, so that is why I say it is always worth your time to look through the ARP rolls anyways, because they do not check those things for the color enameling, and you can always find these things. So I suggest you always open up the ARP rolls anyways. But this hunt has already been validated. I'm already stoked to get this. It's in great shape too, so I might even be able to stuff this in the album. So I'll keep plugging along with this hunt. I got all the good rolls now to get into, so hopefully we can find some silver or some other good stuff like this. But this right here is an epic find already. Oh yeah. Oh, we just got our first US of the hunt. It is a state quarter, and it is Kentucky, our old Kentucky home. And there is actually a variation you can look for in this. I believe it's called the spitting horse variation. So I might throw this under the microscope after and see what we are working with, but I'm pretty sure just from the site right there that this is not the spitting horse, but maybe we'll check anyways for fun. But I always hold on to American quarters because they are worth a little bit more. But we've had ourselves a few tragedies when it comes to these US quarters, and we just got ourselves another partial tragedy, but the condition on this is very nice for the year. And this one is a 1965, so 1 year off from that US silver, but look at the condition on that. The strike is still very pronounced. Mr. Washington there hasn't been scratched out or anything, which I'm sure is going to become more and more common these days. And just look at the eagle. So this right here is definitely going to be my best 1965 that I have found in the wild so far. Nice that these are floating around here in Canada. Alright, we just found ourselves another interesting state quarter that we haven't come across too many of so far, and that is the 2019 Lowell. It is a P mint mark, so nothing too special, nothing really to write home about, but I really like the design on this. It's a beautiful coin, so I will gladly add this one to my collection. And this coin is looking a little nasty there, but it is still a foreign find nonetheless. I don't know why we get so many Barbados coins here in Canada, but this is a Barbados 25 cents, so I don't think I found one of these yet. Pretty cool. We just pulled our very first provincial quarter of this hunt, and it is our favorite variation because it is our home province of Ontario. I really like the design on that one too. Beautiful. these are all relatively low mintage. This Ontario is definitely not the lowest mintage of the provincial quarters, but since it's the province that I live in, I'm a little bit biased in terms of which one is my favorite. Well, these rolls are really starting to dole out some serious goodies here. We just pulled this bad boy out. I've only found one of these before, and there is a non-color variation of this, which is much more common, but I really like this one right here with the blue. I'm not too sure exactly what that is, but I think it might be an orca. I think these are to celebrate Aboriginal artwork or something like that. If I can, I will let you know in the bottom what set exactly this is from, but a very nice one nonetheless. Just pulled both of these right here out of the same roll. We got another one of these, what I believe is a killer whale variation with the blue color enamel, which I absolutely love, any color enameling. And this is most likely a bison from the looks of it, and guessing by the animal types and the artwork, I'm going to say is probably definitely celebrating Aboriginal artwork in Canada. So 2 more coins to add to the pile. This hunt is going quite splendidly. Oh guys, we are on fire right now. We just got ourselves another 2000 color enamel to lock out the trifecta of color variants. So we got the yellow, the blue, and the green. I think that is a first in hunts. I think I've gotten the green and the yellow before, maybe the blue and the yellow, but never all 3 of them. So it's gonna be awesome to line all 3 of these up at the end of the hunt. Usually you'd have to buy them, I believe, in a set. Now I was wondering when one of these might want to make an appearance, but we just pulled our very first 1973 RCMP. So this is a good one to look out for. I suggest you always hold on to it because it is a variation year. They only made this 1 year in 1973, and there's also 2 different variants to look out for. There is the small and large bust. The large bust can be worth a pretty penny, so might throw this under the microscope at the end, but I will always hold on to the 1973s. This one looks in very good shape too. I don't know if this came out of a proof set or if it's just in very good condition for being in circulation, but very nice. Just got ourselves another provincial quarter here. This one is Newfoundland, so this one is sitting around 11 million mintage, so not a bad one at all. Alright, so I have about 14 or 15 rolls left to go, and I just pulled this out right here. This is going to be the most epic find of this hunt so far, possibly of the entire hunt, but it doesn't look like much right here. But when I turn it over, 2001. Now there are 2 variations for 2001. The common variation is 2001P, and then the uncommon variation, what you see right here, is 2001 plain with no P. So this right here is a very low mintage, somewhere around 8 million, I believe. And even though the mintage may seem high, this is the first one I have encountered in the wild so far. Definitely been trying to keep my eyes out for this one because it is extremely hard to find, and I really need it to fill my collection out. I believe it's one of the last holes I still need to fill. So I'll show you guys at the end of this video probably me popping this in there, and hopefully in these last couple rolls we can get something else. But even if not, I'm happy with this right here. Just got ourselves 2 more 1973 RCMPs, so that makes 3 so far. Really getting down to the nitty gritty now. We got about 10 rolls left to go when I just pulled out these 2 bad boys. These are ones that I've been gunning for a very long time, and funny enough, I pulled them both out of the same roll. These are the Provincial Northwest Territories quarters, and even though they're not the lowest mintage, they're around 11 million. I've still been looking for them for a very long time in the wild, and I'm extremely happy to be able to add these to my collection, and I'll be able to slap one of these into the book at the end for you guys. And my Whitman book is almost complete. I only have 1 more provincial quarter to go, and that one will be all finished off. So let me go through these last 10 rolls, and then I will wrap this up for you guys. Well, I have concluded this hunt. Unfortunately, I did not get any silver in those last few rolls, but that is the reality of coin roll hunting. If you got silver in every hunt, if you got silver in every roll, then everybody would be doing this because it would just be free silver and free money all the time. But if you know what to watch out for, what to keep and what not to keep, then you don't have to find silver to have a great hunt like I just had. This might be one of my best hunts so far, and right now I'm going to break down some of the main finds of this hunt. Before I do that, I'd really appreciate if you guys would all once again hit that like button and subscribe if you're new and you would like to see more videos just like this. So in those last couple rolls, we managed to pull ourselves a Nova Scotia Provincial, which is another nice one, relatively low mintage. We also found one more of these colored enameled 2011 Bison quarters. What was in that one clear roll that I thought might have silver, it was this right here, which is I believe in 1987, that some guy just wanted to take out his deranged anger on this coin with a hammer and then chuck it in a fire, and then I don't even want to know what else he did to get all this dirt and grime on it, but I will release this back out into the wild. Alright, so these are all of the major finds of this hunt, and they are some major finds indeed. This men's Canadian hockey quarter right here, minted at around 3 million, is going to be the lowest mintage find of this hunt. We have also these 3 different Canadian 2011 Aboriginal artwork color variants, and they're just absolutely beautiful. These blue ones are very far and few between. I've only found one of them before hunting, and you're very lucky if you can maybe sometimes find one of them in a single hunt. So to get all of those, we got all 3 of them, is just absolutely awesome. We also have the 2 1992 Provincial Northwest Territory quarters, and I've been looking for those for quite a while now to fill out a hole in my collection. I will show you me throwing that into there when I finish this up, but this was just an absolutely awesome hunt. And the only other one that I did not throw down there is this guy right here, which was another amazing find, this 2001 plane, which I've also been looking for a very long time. I'll show you guys the empty spot in my book when I throw this into it at the very end of this video. But if I had to rate this hunt, I would say it's a strong 8 or 9 out of 10. You know, I love getting silver. Silver is the bread and butter of most coin roll hunters and what fuels us, but all of this stuff right here, you got to be happy with that. You can't complain with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this hunt. If you want to let me know what your favorite find was down in the comments, I'd really appreciate that. And that's going to do it for this one, guys. So, peace out. Have a good one, y'all.